Okay, we are live. Let me play this thing really fast. Hold up. Can you see this? All right.
Yup.
All right, all right. Peace and blessings, light and love. So I'm here with this is Cosmic Sankofa, as some of you already know. I'm here with my brother Ausar MK, and yo, we are simply just gonna have just a raw discussion about the Kemetic legacy, our different practices, what brought us to it, our understanding on how it's manifested in today's day and age, the different groups that practice it, and we're just going to have a discussion, a general discussion, and get it in from a different perspective, coming from two different brothers that are in the Kemetic sphere, and that you might want to be interested in what our perspectives are. So, without further ado, it is brother Ausar M. Ka. Yo, what's happening, fam?
Man, ATE Imitap Sen, Uncle Uncle Jaseneb, Dua Henu for listening. I'm here with my brother Cosmic. We were bound to connect. Of course, you guys know this. You know. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right, family. So so let's just get right to it, right? I would like to kind of, I guess, frame the conversation in reference to, are in the context of the Ma'afa. You understand? Like has a process of like the reclamation of Kemetic legacy has the process of identification with African cultural greatness. That's kind of, you know when I am around, or even my initial initiation into the systems, it was about reclaiming, the lost part of ourselves, and then trying to identify those aspects, are that part, the things that we did as a people that made us great.
Absolutely. And see, for me, mine's, well, number one, I was told by my partner TJ's father, who passed, who was from Ghana. He used to make us sit down and watch Shaka Zulu, and then he would sit down and say stuff in Ghanaian to us, different things of that nature. Um, Him and several other West African brothers from different areas, and even some East African family that was just around, and he used to be on us heavy, heavy. And I come from a household of preachers, right?
Mm.
So we own a church in Cheyenne, Wyoming. You know what I'm saying? I'm in Colorado. So the line of preachers came from Shreveport, Louisiana. And so my father is Dr. Fitzhugh, and he taught a lot of the mainstream preachers that you see out here today. It's very instrumental. And this is why I was so I understood the Bible almost front to back,
Yeah, yeah.
because that's what we had to come up in. Um, I used to sing in the choir, all that stuff. And my mother, uh, she's like a deacon. My father was a deacon. Um, and so that was around me heavy. And I was the branch that broke off. Once I started to break off, you start to do what you look for, what you just talked about. You're looking for, okay, this is this system set up like this. This
Mm,
is degrading to us in so many ways, and it demonizes us in this book. And where's our book? No
yep.
book. Where's our guidance? Where's our ethic codes? Where I just watched Shaka Zulu. What do the Zulus do? You know?
Mm,
What? Oh, we're Congolese. You see the flag. You see the. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we're Congolese. What do the Congolese do? And so that's when the dig starts to begin for that greatness and what it's supposed to be. And Uncle Larry, before he passed, he tell me, he say, Egypt is you. Egypt is you. You don't understand. I was like, all right. So then I started to study, and it led me on a heavy journey where I started to see different, like, who was your first the because if you weren't in New York at the time, who did you see that first was a Kemetic?
so okay, yeah. I wanted to oh, well, before I answer, let me ask you this. Because then my answer really goes along this route. Did you go through the different black liberating schools of thought before reaching Kemet? You know what I mean? Like
I
the
did.
Nation of Gods and Earth, the
I
Nation
was
of
a five
Islam.
percenter.
Yeah, because there's
Shout out
like,
to my boy Knowledge. Knowledge Born
yeah,
taught me
okay. Because what
directly.
I'm there's a trajectory, you understand? Like I think people have to kind of go through, like you don't just jump from well, not many people jump from the Bible to Kemet, right? There's stages in between, like because then there's still some sort of like you identify still the Bible as having some sort of truth somewhere. Like let me get a deeper understanding. This is where we'll discuss some groups that kind of give you a deeper understanding and then take you off planet. You know what I'm saying? To try to to try to give you that thing. But so I just wanted to know: did you go through other schools of thought first, or did you jump straight to Kemet?
I didn't. My first walk, um, of course, like I said, we grew up under the Bible till I read the whole thing, and then I was like, nah. Then my Muslim, well, we were heavy in the 5% bill for a while. My man Knowledge Born, my man Boston, um, some of that original foundation from New York made its way out here. And my partner T Bone's uncle, who used to run around with uh, Pudding, aka Clarence 13X, aka the
Oh,
father of love. So we would get it directly from the source. He would make us create our book of life and all that other stuff. So it's probably sitting in here somewhere. And after that, it started me on the Islamic journey because you know, you always seen Malcolm X and Elijah and all them. I was like, you know what? Let me see something. And it made me go, pardon me, because I got a little sore, crazy throat thing. It made me go to Masjid Abu Bakr. And in fact, I got in a fight with one of my friends named Hakam. And we're
not Hakeem Hakim.
Hakam.
Okay, all right.
Hakum, Suleiman, Talat, uh, and and the rims I bought from my 350Z are from his younger brother. We used to change his diaper. One day, you know, we're young, we get in a fight, and he started it, which was weird because he was fasting. But he hits me, and so I drop him. He's like, I'm fasting, I'm fasting. First he said, Siam, Siam. I said, what's that? He gets up, he swings at me again. So I catch him again. Bing, 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 bing. He's like, no, I'm
He's
fasting, I'm
swinging on you
fasting.
and he says I'm fat. What?
Yeah.
That's
And so
bro.
then I tried to hit him again. I was like, nah. So I tried. He's like, no, I'm fasting. I said, what's fasting? He said, when we fast, we can't fight, we can't eat. I'm weak right now. I said, oh. I said, well, we'll fight later. I said, knock it off. I said, but sit down. What is fasting? So we started having a conversation about fasting. And so through that, I was like, well, that's crazy, because he starts explaining what you do during Ramadan, because it was the month of
Mhm.
Ramadan.
Yeah.
Then I end up going up to the Masjid Abu Bakr, sitting with my boys Halil and Muhammad, who we both do me and Muhammad do jujitsu together often. But we meet Sheikh Amjad, and Sheikh Amjad uh used to sit with Sheikh Ahmadida. And so we get a lot of information from Sheikh Amjad concerning we get Islam through that. And I take my Shahada with Sheikh Jamal Din Zaraboza, who wrote Fiqh al-Sunnah, or re-edited it. And I meet Abu Turki, who you guys see on TV, famous for having the sex slave in his house, because
I
they got him from war.
never
they
heard of this.
had a sex slave from war, from Pakistan, he had brought over here, and
What?
all of that stuff, including uh the one guy that was with ISIS. He was in the masjid with us. Me and him almost got in a fight one day. Um, Very rude individual. And I'm meeting all these entities, but at that time you're entertaining the thought of a heaven and a hell.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. This is what I mean. You're breaking free.
Through that entertaining of heaven and hell, those types of things start to, which our listeners today and whoever listens later when you watch this, you start to entertain that thought. But at some point in time, you need to entertain the thought of, where do these ideas come from?
Yes.
And that's when you start to read your way out of certain text, read your way out of certain books, read your way out of ideas that aren't the original setting for those thoughts. And when you do that, that's what makes you more sound. The other thing is science. Everybody screams science, but they don't want to do the science when the science starts to lead to, you probably didn't get here just by a willy-nilly situation.
Mhm. So, so this is me, right? So like it's my senior year, right? Um and then I kind of semi become homeless, right? And so then but I have a liter I'm not really in school anymore, but I go to school because there's a teacher there that I like talking to, right? That's the only reason why I'm going to school. I'm actually not in school. I drop out, right? And I have to get a job in order to pay. I got a lot of things going on. I'm by myself, right? My mom is in jail, right? I'm in the apartment by myself, so I have to drop out. It wasn't like I was going to graduate anyway, but I have to drop out in order, and I had to get two jobs to pay rent, right? And then I'm having the conversations with this guy at school, and I'm trying to convince him that I'm a nigga, right? I'm trying to, right?
That's
Like,
an old conversation.
right? Like, I'm trying to convince him that I'm a nigga, that women are reproductive tools, right? Nothing more, right? And that my lifespan is over at 25. Like, these are my arguments, right? And like, this is my belief system, right? And so like, and he's disagreeing with me, and I'm not understanding why he's disagreeing. So then I keep coming back up to the school to have these arguments with him, and he keep calling me crazy. You know, he's talking with me, but then that's when he's the first. And then after months of me not winning any of these discussions, right? He then he tells me, he begins telling me about ancient Egypt and how great we were, so on and so forth, right? This, and then he tells me about this. This is in Seattle, and then he tells me about this group called Kemet Temple, and they were studying ancient Egypt. Ra and Ephraim man, Shechem or Shechemet came. They had brought him up before the day of a speech, and this group, a study group, formed around that. And so I began going to the study group. Simultaneously, I end up like not being able to maintain the apartment. and actually am, and then go into the streets. But I'm going to this group, meeting this group, and but then this brother comes. Basically, he kind of looks like me now, long hair, except he got a beard, right? He's got this long beard, and then he starts talking about meditation, and then he tells us about this meditation retreat called Vipassana, and then he tells me about all the different things that happen at Vipassana, as far as like when you suppress when you stop talking, other senses and other energies, other senses get heightened. It's just like a blind person can hear really well.
Daredevil. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I get shocked and surprised by that, and then I go on this like meditative journey type of path. But during that, simultaneously, I also, while this is all going on, like all of this is happening like in 1 year, I run into the Nation of Gods and Earths, and then I end up building with them, but I end up losing them quickly. I don't really even go any distance with them. Like we're building. I become homeless. They give me. I'm living, and if you look in Seattle, like what's known as the African American Cultural and Heritage Center now. Before it was that, there was a big fight to get it to be a Black center, Black cultural center. I was living in one of the construction temps. They gave me that as a space to live while they were there, right? And then on Friday nights, Saturday nights, we would have these builds. You sit around, one is knowledge, two, so on and so forth, right? And then, but I'm like, no, I take it back. I'm like, no, one is not knowledge, one is instinct. I reshaped the mathematics, and I forget what I did, but that threw everybody in a loop. Because I started questioning, like, nah, that doesn't make sense. Like, look, listen, observe, and also respect. That's not knowledge. Those are tools. That's actions. Knowledge is an intangible thing, right? And they did, and I'm like, so they immediately start ostracizing me, right? So I don't even make it past the, getting the initial mathematics. I don't get to the alphabets and the 120 and all
degrees.
That. Yeah, like they ostracized me from the start, because I began, I'm into meditation as well. So they nowadays y'all call it spooky. So, but that's the way I was, and that's all I could embrace. But then from there, but at that time, I during this time, I know I had a choice. It was like, do I continue to go along the spiritual path, or my goal is to improve and help the Black community, or so do I need to study and look at the culture and the politics of our people in order to help them out? And I chose to look at the culture and politics of our people. And so then I'm still with the study group, but but at the same time I'm learning and I'm participating in the cultural community out there. So I'm doing Kwanzaa. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing basically Kwanzaa. I'm going to the jails doing Kwanzaa there. And then I recognize and realize, or somebody makes a statement that people need to get resources so that we can host Kwanzaa events in our own space. So I decided to go back to school, get my GED, my diploma, my bachelor's, my associates, my bachelor's, and my master's. So after dropping out and all this other stuff. So and then a long story, but well, I guess that'll end it right there, but my path towards Kemeticism is more geared towards, I used to help organize the ASCAT conferences, right? And this was when Jacob Carruthers was alive. Dr. Jacob Carruthers was alive, right? in the Northwest. And the one thing about ASCAC is great, but I started to realize, like, it's just mostly about study. Let's look at what Mentuhotep did. This is great. It's like a glorified. It's a lot of book reporting. And I began to wonder, like, what made them great. Not what they did that was great. What was the initiation systems? What was it that they incorporated into their lives that made them great? That's a different question. You understand? Like, that's not just reading what they did. It's like I need to try to figure out how do I implement that those aspects, how do I implement what they were doing to make them great? What made Mentu Hotep say, get out of my land? You know what I'm saying? What gave him that gump to do that? What made Shaka say, we about to run barefoot? You know what I'm saying? In order to fight these people. You know what I'm saying? What made Shaka do that? You know, what is the cultural, I guess, what are the cultural values that they instilled in who they were? Because they didn't just sit down reading. You know what I'm saying? Reading was a part of the training, but there was something else. And so I was looking to figure out how to instill that something else in my character.
Mm.
So
See, that, yeah, that's driving force right there. Driving force is important. And before you even become ma'at, as you was explaining with your situation, you just you look for things that have gotten you this far and what makes you survive generally. Those are the things you start to pull from. And sometimes it takes a while before you start to pull from the foundation that they say we were made upon, which is ma'at. So when they say in the sentence, I put ma'at at the foundation of everything. Kapara says that, Ausar says that. And all things are made in ma'at. When you start to pull from those foundations, as opposed to the hustle game or opposed to the knuckle game or you know what I'm saying? That's when you start to transform and change. And I'm sure you experienced it the same way I experienced it. Nature deals with you. You know, that's a, like one thing that was kind of bugged out about me is I still get them, what they call the deja vus. So I would get a premonition, I would have a dream, and I would tell my partners about it if I thought they would be in danger. And there's a couple famous ones out here, which I told my partner V Ice, I told this girl, and I told this other cat, I said, don't go to this party. Why? I said, because I seen you get shot in the chest, I seen you get shot in the head, and I seen somebody else get hit. It was like, nah. And so I tell, she was my girlfriend at the time, this girl Crystal and her friend Deidre and some other people, and the people, my man V Ice. And so they go anyway. He got shot 4 times in the chest. She got grazed in the head, and they hit the other dude, but I only seen him in the dream. And then we knew who it was because I seen them in the dream, and I said, this is the Mexican dude and this other dude who was Asian and black mix. I won't say their names because we still know them. And they was really just trying to flash out. And so my partner Elbow grabs me from we're at George Washington High School. He grabs me. He says, come on, we about to get busy. We go to the funeral, and my partner, they're like, come on, we about to ride. We about to be like, nah, we not riding. And they looking at me like, what, you? I'm like, no. But they didn't understand. I knew in my brain who did it. What confirmed that was my partner Elbow, who grabbed me, who seen them do it and told me later. But when he grabs me out of class, he like, come on. So I come out, I lead the class. I'm like, what's up? He like, yo, we about to get busy. I know who did it. I was like, who? And then he goes to show me. We catch them in the King Supers and start beating them up. We throwing them in the vegetable section and all types of craziness. And he pulls out the gun on me, and I'm like, shh, make sure you don't miss. And then he runs out the store, and we just held that in for a long time. But it was stuff like that, the intuition that would start to hit me. And then I was reading something, and it was weird because stuff like this would happen. I was reading how they would select who would be an oracle, or how they would select certain children. And they said they would look for the child that had deja vu in one of the texts, who had the premonitions and could. I said, get out of here. Then on the back of my album cover, my first album cover when I was doing music, I wrote something, and I named, like, I had a whole bunch of friends that had passed away because it was dangerous at the time. And then I had a bunch of girlfriends that I wanted to thank. So I thanked the girlfriends, and I make a statement, and then I'm reading the text in ancient Egypt, and the statement I wrote is the same statement he writes about the girls that he was dealing with. I said, get out of here. I said, this is
Letters
too.
to the ancestors from Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's a letter. Uh, I'll pull it up on a different day. We'll pull it up on a day because I didn't even think of we would be talking about that. But
It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much, yeah. I'm like, yo, everything is just lining up. So then I was like, well, why they make it a big deal to say that we're not from Egypt? Uncle Larry said this. Let me go look and see. So then I started to dig into the tomb stuff. And when I start to dig into I'm like, I can't find nobody who don't look like us.
Mm.
So then it started to make me real curious. And then once I really, once the internet really opened up, I was able to see. And then I was able to, you can confirm after you get visuals. And then after I went there, I really was like, yeah, obviously.
That's what I wanted to discuss a little. All right. So what I'm noticing, I guess, is this. At least here, there's more of a push for academics versus cultural reclamation, so to speak. So, what is your position?
Both. I
Okay.
think cultural was the initial striving. This new generation is not like us. They not like us. They not look.
Yeah, I
This
know,
new
right?
generation, and you
It's
probably see me on several shows. I'm like, damn, you sound like the sellouts we used to go against. A lot of these guys that speak and talk, because all of a sudden the paradigm has shifted from claiming your descendancy from ancient Africa, bringing that culture forward and futurizing it. That's what our initial discussion was. That's
yeah.
that's what our ancestors wanted, and some of the ones that are still around wanted. These new cats is like, no, let's start from the boat. I'm like, that's the last thing we wanted to happen. So they want to start from the boat, uh, strictly the boat, and then they want to pick certain things from Africa to say that, okay, this is African or this is this. And some of them don't even want to be associated with being an African
All right.
descendant.
I might have. Okay, I got a question. I'm not getting the references. So can you what do you I don't understand what you're saying. Starting from the boat, I'm thinking you're talking about slavery. But then
Yes.
so I thought you were about to go into the American Indian type of thing, but then you start saying picking and choosing from Africa. So what are you speaking on exactly?
Ados is one of those groups where they don't even want to be African.
The ADOS is a trip.
They don't even want to be out. They like, we Indians. I'm
Yeah.
Taino. Puerto Ricans lately with this hip hop discussion that flamed up. All of a sudden, you African Americans, what are you talking about? You
Yo,
you in America, you went from Africa mixed with the Taino, you fall under the same branch. Now
I have
your language is all of a sudden the new disclaimer. So now you're Latin. So okay, your other slave master, instead of English, your other slave master, your conquistador slave master, and at some point in time, you disconnected from Africa too.
You know what though? I had it on these little social media apps, man. I was on Clubhouse and I was in this room and they were the ADOS people or whatever, and they had this disdain and hate for Africa, but they still understood their connection to Africa. So I was trying to figure them out, and I thought everything was cool, but it was more about like, this is how Africa messed us up. This is what they did that was wrong. This is, and I mean, rightfully, some of the arguments, okay, yeah, but this hate that you have, I wasn't feeling. And then it became a lineage conversation. They're like, where are you from? And they started trying to grill me like I'm not from here. Like my family, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, why do I have to justify? Why am I going through my lineage with you? So I get what you're saying on that note. But here's the thing. I think what social media has done is it's given voice to those people that we ran across before, but we never engaged in conversation. That's what it is. These are the ideas of people that when we hear people call other people African booty scratcher as a kid, we're looking at them growing up. These are the grown-ups that have a more developed theology,
The sellout.
ideology around why they are defending their African booty scratcher comment. You
The
understand?
sellout.
Yeah. Or, but then, and that's what I've come to see it as. Like they just grew up and trying to develop their philosophy, with all types of pseudoisms that they can, because it's a pseudoism type of thing. So anyway, all right, moving forward. Um, so what do you think? Okay, let's get into some of the different houses, right? What are some of the houses that you're familiar? Let's talk like the Shrine of Ptah, you know, or Jabari has the Shrine of Ma'at, but my understanding that the first one was from Baba Heru, the Shrine of Ptah. Are you familiar with that, or is that what's your house?
Well, I have a brand new house. Which is the Shemsu, because technically the word Kemetic is it's not a word. You know, it doesn't. We don't even hear stuff like commission until Greek translations. So you start to see that, and I'm not sure. I haven't read the Demotic to see if it actually says commission in that language. But I'm bringing about something new, which relies more on the foundational old information, which is why Saber Reggie was so excited uh, to have me in the mix, because he asked a question to me and I say, this comes from this, right? Or as Shaka Amos pointed out the other day, every time he says something, there's the primary resource for it. And that's what I'm looking at, the foundational things where uh, I love the Kemetic tradition. Infudishi was my favorite teacher to watch, to meet, to bring here, and to correspond with. But they have that legacy, which we're still just extensions of. But the term is Shemsu, the follow,
Mm.
and Shemsu Asar in particular for me, because of when I was born, November 6th, the day when the Sim priest come out, uh, the month he was dissected, the month of Kaher Ka, really, in ancient times and now when it rolls back around. So that would be my lineage and my movement, um, based off of watching brothers like Muwada Ashby when he first started, um, starting myself, bringing stuff back like the Seshu Ma'ani Medu Necha. When I first revised that, and we started to gather guys from what were they called, the Guardians of Ma'at, which my boy Chris started, and Ujau and company were a part of after they came out of that Nuwapian branch. Um, they come over and I say, come on, let's move like this. Yeah.
Wait. Ujaus. Okay.
So I
Interesting.
said, come on, let's move like this. This is when I first tell him, I said, oh, you sound like a sesh. He said, if that's a good thing, whatever that means. So I said, so
Ascribe.
I say you a seshu, ma'ani medunecha. So we would, I'm digging these things up early, bringing them and re-implementing them, so we're not using the falsifications or the terms of endearment that grow over time. And I'm like, we seshu. So me, him, and a group of people, we built that up. Uh, First it was just me. Then I
What
started.
year is this?
Huh?
What year is this?
I think I started 2012. So you mind if I share my screen?
Yeah. Go ahead. Can you do that, or how
Yeah.
does that? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Share. There it goes right there. Let's hit entire screen. Hit share. So this,
Wait. Okay. Let me add that to stage. Let me see if that's working. Hold on. All right, we're good.
All
This
right.
this is this is new for me to have a guest on and all this other stuff. So I'm learning this joint.
So this is like my first webcam, September 2012, right? And here I'm talking about my art and it being at your foundation. That's my first video on YouTube.
Mm.
Um, Here we start to build up Kemet Empire. I did 15 episodes, our
Is this
reality within Ra. You
wait,
see,
what platform is that on?
this is Blog Talk Radio
Blog Talk Radio. Yeah.
back in the
Okay.
day.
Yeah, Blog Talk. Yeah.
And I would do a 30-minute to 25-minute show basically. And so you see, like these are all 12 years ago.
Yeah, man.
These
Yeah, I
are
remember that joint.
the foundational pieces, a look at the 42 virtues of Ma'at. And then we were on Google Hangout. I had a place called the Per Ankh, the Per Saber. Google Hangouts, right there. Just pull right up. You go into Google Hangouts, there's so many rooms. You see all these rooms in here?
So yeah, I wasn't. I'm listening, man.
Yeah.
During this time period. Okay, so this is like right after I graduated, and so
Yeah.
then I just got into work, and then so I learned from Dr. Mario Beatty, right? I learned I
Mm.
when he came to Howard, I took his class, and then I learned it, but didn't put it to any use after that. So it basically lay dormant for like a decade. There was no use for it. And then I discovered this online community stuff late, like 4 years ago. You know,
Yeah. And
So
see,
then this is I'm still, I guess, this all new to me. Let me put it like that. Still,
all right. So in here, this is like when you're first meeting your these different entities that are among us now. I met my Kalam in here, Smash in here, Maru in here, Kansu in here, my little brother Amin in here, and Yame is in here, Melvin is in here, Ujao, all of them come over to this particular chat, this Per Saber room. And when they come over, Alvin Elmore, a lot of our Hebrew brothers, they would come over here, Garfield and all them. This is where we would meet at. This is where the discussions and debates would take place at in here.
mm.
And as you can see, as I go down, it just like you'll start to see more and more names. And they would fight in here sometimes. Danny, I knew from out here in Colorado, and he's one of the 5% brothers. And he was also in here with us, but not as often. Rob Bourne, I meet in here. So all of these younger entities, I start to meet them in here. And a plethora of Hebrews and global, what do you call it? That MK whatever. He was in here with us as well. There you see Kansu, you
You
see
know,
Alvin. They're all in here back in the day. And so as we run into each other and meet each other, we start to have discussions. LaRon was in here, Michael Edwards. So
LaRon. Wait, I think LaRon is that the same dude that be on Clubhouse? I
he
think
probably does, yeah.
I've
He
heard
from
that.
St. Louis.
I don't know. I just be hearing him in certain rooms, and he's always talking about something like, I don't know his particular stance per se, but I hear that name LaRon pretty often.
Yeah, we stayed in these rooms from way back. And when you go through these rooms, you start to see how the people evolve, how they change over time. And so an argument that they have now wasn't the argument back then. Now I could really go and just pull up some of their quotes and embarrass a lot of them, but that's never my intent. You know what I'm saying? My intent is to see your growth and to see I didn't have to change over time because my paradigm is always set correctly. See how you keep changing over time because your paradigm is not sitting correctly. Some of them think it's growth, but sometimes you're just going backwards. And so it's difficult to show them the difference between growth and retracting. You know, when you retract or you you start to devolve, or you start to move backwards. Sometimes you have to be shown that, you have to be told that, and that's a lot of their issues. They don't know that.
You know, for
Google Classroom.
I call them, what did I call them? I call them they are like visitors, entertainment, travelers, people that go, to me in our here you see people that bounce between different communities. Out DC is very interesting in that the DC communities are really small. It's concentrated, and so you have a lot of different houses out here, right? Even Kemetic houses, you have different Kemetic houses. And so, you have like the Ifa community, which is the Yoruba, the Akan. You have Yoruba, Akan. You have a Kemetic house. The Nuwabians are out here. The Hebrew Israelites are here. You know what I'm saying? And then I see people that come to all of them, like the Kemetic community, the Yoruba community, the Akan community. We kind of work together as a collective in many senses, but and there's a different type of Hebrew that's out here, right? There's the people that do the Everlasting Life restaurants, and then they're not like the people that we see on the street corners. I used to watch the brothers and sisters on the street corners and think it was funny. Just walk past them. You are Esau. Actually, DC made a law against them, bro. It was funny, but they didn't word it like you can't be. They said you can't be on a street corner yelling at people. Basically, I got to pull it up. But I used to think it was funny till I got on social media. Then because I come from the paradigm of has people in the diaspora that have experienced the Ma'afa, we are striving to just bring balance to our lives. So any philosophy, any theology that gives you some sense of pride and honor, I support it. Nation of Islam, I don't agree, but I can support. If you had a black theology that taught you a sense of self and to be strong and to be proud, I would support it until I started looking at the details of stuff, and and then beginning to get online and then seeing the hatred that some of these theologies have towards Africa. When I started to see that, that's where I had to draw a line, because first and foremost, Africa first, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Love the self, because the self comes from Africa. You know what I'm saying? Even, at least the physical self comes from the mother continent. Like, why would you? We can have our disagreements, we can have whatever, but we can still, we need to still understand and love the place we come from. Where does this hate come from? And that's where I started to notice now a critique of these theologies is necessary. It has to move beyond. It's just, uplifting the people from the ghetto, which is still important. But then when we get into the details, why are you there's something wrong here, fundamentally off with a theology that teaches you to hate yourself, a part of yourself, because then if you say we're not African, you're there's something because you're from Africa. That's why you are working so hard against Africa. That's why you're creating all of these different routes of history in order to disassociate and disconnect yourself from your motherland. That's anyway. So now I'm beginning to see there is a need for like what I call Afro apologetics. The defense of Africa against these different theologies, because these theologies have, they do study us and come up with arguments to deconstruct what we are. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of my thing. That's my take on it. So brother, I have another question. So do you read hieratic?
I read some hieratic, yeah.
Okay, like that was the class, that was the thing I did not take, and I've been wanting to take that. Actually, I've been brushing. I need to brush up. Like you, I watch you and Smash and everybody go through it. Like you all are a lot better than a lot of people that I know. Because this is like your basketball. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem saying that whatsoever,
No,
because
that's a good thing. That's just a compliment to your brother. Yeah.
Yeah, because like it's like you all are on the court all day, right? So even if somebody was an NBA player but they haven't played in 30 years, whatever, you'll mop them up because they haven't shot a free throw. That's what you all represent. You all are studying the meta, and it's really admirable, to tell you the truth, man. Honestly,
A lot of times we read it better than the professionals.
Yeah.
I know some professionals who will clean me up. Most of them are African. And it won't be that I couldn't read it. It'd be that I couldn't read it as fast, and I wouldn't have all the same understandings immediately. Especially when you have to decipher something and break it down and see, because a lot of times it becomes easy to know the medu, the letters, the words. You'll know the medu, you won't fully understand how it goes together. You have to start to dig into that word to see how the sentence is structured and what they're saying, so you can put those together. Some things become commonplace because you do them so often, and as much practice as we get on a Smash's channel, Sanetra's channel, or Reggie's channel, or my channel, or Kalam's channel, it starts to become easy. Or when what it was Hebrews started to challenge us often. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, so what does this say?
Exactly. Yeah,
I'd be like,
it's the opposition, man, that gets you better.
Yeah. I'm like, let me see. Blow it up so I can see it. Then I'm looking, I'm like, okay, I see that word there, that. And a couple times, and usually with the hieratic, if you pull that up, I say, you got it. I ain't even trying to read that today, because hieratic is written with the penmanship of somebody who may not be so nice. You know what I'm saying?
It's like cursive.
Yeah.
So there's a glyph, the glyph of the two of the feet walking, to go whatever. That looks like a sickle in hieratic. It's like,
you like,
well, what is that? Yeah, it's like, and then yeah, I'm not, I'm at the stage still where I still have to look symbols up. So
and it just takes time, and most of it is like, you see our brother Jose is fast. He's getting fast quick. Why? Okay. Because when we say, yo, let's break this down, they're not embarrassed to hop on. And that's what just because somebody put it, he don't know what it is, so what? He will. And when he does, he'll know, and you won't, because you over there, he don't know what it is. Hop in there and play. It doesn't mean anything that your level is here, or you know what I'm saying? The main thing is that you practice and play with it, because we can break stuff down a lot faster than most. Egyptologists get on and get embarrassed because they know they ain't mess with the glyphs like that. Like you ain't been reading like that. You probably did an excavation, wanted to write your book, wrote your book, Now you want to do interviews, but you ain't been studying like that. We over here on a daily basis, like maybe 3 or 4 times out the week, like school, breaking down metal nature. Phrases start to become common. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm in the comments. I see what's going on. And man, and see, I still don't know how to work the TLA. Like I need to start jumping up there with you all. But the other thing too, there's this contention that goes on as well. Like it's like you got to be careful, you know what I'm saying? Because you're like jumping in the ring and you don't know who you need to wear the gloves for.
yeah.
You know,
And
so
you
that
stay away from those. Stay away from, like, when it gets like that, you just click like, hey, I didn't come up here for that. I didn't come up here for that.
yeah, I'm learning how to navigate. I'm learning to navigate amongst others. Let me put it like that. Learning to navigate amongst others.
Because a lot of dudes will challenge you. Me, I hopped in the debate ring because I was like, this cats ain't even defending what we talking about. You know, me and Sarah Suit and Seti used to hop on, and we used to go through different chats, and we'd see each other in there and start banging somebody up that was out of character, doing too much, disrespecting African culture, or and this was when the time Egypt is not black. You know what I'm saying? When the first 26, almost 28 dynasties is they African. What you want? You know what I'm saying? They African. We, with the exception of the Hikaka suit coming in that 11th to around the 13th. The kings is African. The people is black African folks. You
Hey,
know, we
here's a
get
question.
Persians later. We get Greeks later. We get so and so later.
Later.
Ptolemies are later down. The Ptolemies is like the 30th dynasty.
Yo, here's a question, brother. What do you think about this? Garfield has a point with this. Like Asar is a late construction in reference to like he doesn't show up to the fifth dynasty.
That's his claim. But if you seen us on there, you see we go back.
You found Asar earlier.
We found uh
I let me let
I think
me
it
let
was
me
the first dynasty where they start making the inscription, and he goes under a different name.
Yes, I found him to be Angeti.
There you go.
This is what I think. I think Asar took on the characteristics of Angeti and Anpu.
Well, he picks up Ampu's epithets later.
Kintia, yeah.
Early on, it's Angeti and it's what is the other name? I can't remember the other name, but he's like right in that first dynasty, almost dynasty zero.
Mm,
You'll find epithets of him, or like you see the body, you see that concept in the Kata and Meraway. So it's not like it's, you know what I'm saying? You see him laid down, you see the people in front of him, you see those pots are from Nakata. What are we talking about? You know what I'm saying?
it's like a theological continuity, but you know, there's an adaptation to the theology that kind of stuck. That's what I
Yeah.
think. And then when the other thing, when you're when you're looking at Kemetic theology, it's not, there's a stasis and then a flexibility to it. You know, like you have the Heliopolitan school, so to speak, you know, then the Hermopolitan school, and then you have Menefer. You know, the three different, like three different approaches to how, you know, the universe and then the universe came into existence and how to work with the different gods, or so to speak, different temples or different schools of thought. You know,
There's
there was
about
a
eight.
staticness, and then each nome or sapat had its own theology associated with it as well.
It had the natural rule that you were the Shemsu of.
Correct.
So you follow that school of thought. You Shemsu, you're a follower of that particular nature and that method. And there's like 8. So you got Ptah, you got the Ra, you got Atum Ra, you got You got Asar and Aset by themselves. You have Haru, and when you look at the early wars that they would have, like when you get the way you get the mythos is you trace the physical war, so the actual happening between the Shemsu Hor and the
Mhm.
Shemsu Set and the Shemsu Asar. The Shemsu Asar start to kind of do cannibalism. The Shemsu Set go to kill the Shemsu Asar, start killing them off. The
Wait,
Shems,
where did you get this?
this is from the archaeological evidence of the wars that take place and the
Oh,
standards and stuff that they find. So this is the digging deep. Like when you see me pull up the Journal of Egyptian Archaeology,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
this is what you get. This is the right. So as you start to see this stuff in the excavations, you start to see the Shemsu Hor and the Shemsu Asar get together and start to stomp out the Shemsu Set and chase them further down south
Hmm.
back into the Nahesi area, which when you look at ancient Egypt, it's really all Nahesi. You can't even really. So let me see. Where's the? I'll pull up.
Yeah, I'm like mad interested in that right there. Like, so the Simsu Asar began to be cannibals, and this might be related to the theology of Asar. That's interesting, bro.
Mhm. Which is it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You
You
can't
know,
even.
the thing is, things are not pristine about Egypt. You know what I'm saying? It's people. People doing things that people do.
Yeah, and people doing stuff at that time that, and you still see it happening in the Congo. And most of your original Egyptians are twas. They're short.
Mm.
They're little. Uh,
Yes.
and thus you have the Ding people and different things like that. So you get a mixture of different cultures. If you ask me, and UNESCO almost confirms this, you're looking at when you're looking at the cultures that make up ancient Egypt, you're talking about Maasai, you're talking about Nubia, you're talking about Tibu, you're talking about who are the Libyans, the Black Libyans. You're talking about different cultures like that coming together as an amalgamation.
Yeah. A cosmopolitan, so to speak, of ancient African civilizations.
Yes. And so it's no wonder that you find the words, as I look for this book, you find the words uh, in the Maasai culture for some of this information. You find the Ilasar clan amongst them. Amongst their cousins, the Kalenjin people, you find the Ilaset people. There's another group who is different African clan. You find the Heru people, So you're finding this amongst African cultures, and then we're looking around like, well, who are these people? Who do you think? And they still run cattle. And who's known for circumcision? The Maasai. And who's, you know what I'm saying? All the all the stuff that we choose not to look at just because some other scientist hasn't put it together yet. Some of us have researched some things, and in researching those things and looking at some catalogs of stuff and looking at some different artifacts, it would only make sense. And then looking at time periods where those people were in Northeast Africa, who else could it have been?
Yeah.
These are the things that people don't really look at and
There's
understand.
who's that guy that keeps trying to say Egypt was not African? That what's
In
that?
Egypt, Zahi Hawass.
Not Zai. No, he's a YouTuber. He be coming on the shows.
Oh,
Uh,
uh,
he goes hard. He's in Cali or something.
X, yeah,
Yeah,
X
Chief X. This
Chief.
cat, honestly, but he has some points in reference
He
to
has no,
genetics. Well, okay, but
he has
I'm
no
waiting on the
points.
genetic study. I'm waiting on the genetic study that's supposed to come out, this year. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but even the genetics, like they've done a million of them.
Mm-hmm.
The genetics aren't going to tell you what's going on for then for now. In most cases, uh, what you, especially like if we go to the time of the cave and rock art, it's almost a useless uh thing to bring up. Like genetically, who, you know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna tell you, oh, see, they're Algerian, and then we're gonna look on the rock art and see who was in Algeria at that time.
For me, it's always been about the culture. It's always been about the culture because the culture is African. The culture, and then it's the shared cultural characteristics that's in Africa that I see within ancient Egypt. I
Yes.
see it. So the so we can see that, and then we can see that culture for what it is in its stasis and its flexibility. You
Right.
know,
And it's meant for everybody. These
yeah.
cats keep acting like it's only meant for so and so or so no. They would bring Greeks, Romans, Hindu, who, you know what I'm saying? Whoever
Everybody got
was coming in
initiated.
contact. Yeah, come
Everybody
over
got
here.
initiated.
Let me
That,
show you something, and then
that's why Plutarch and Herodotus could report that they could find, the initiation system. They said Dionysus, but it's the initiation system of Ausar in ancient Arabia. Because that's where they took the culture with them. It's the cultural, and then the culture, and this is the thing that kind of gets me. The culture is always about your connection with the other world, with the divine essence, your connection to the ancestor, to the gods, and to ultimately the divine essence.
yeah.
It's not just about reading books. This is where I think certain communities get stuck. It wasn't like the priests simply got together and read books. They conducted rituals, and they had their own system of cultivation and discipline.
Oh yeah, without question. I mean, and this is some of the pushback we get a lot. We get like our big brother Bonacci, who I don't disrespect at all, love him to death. When and this is why I asked the question, because I'm not gonna argue with him. That's our elder.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
What I'll do is propose a question and see how you answer it. If you tell me there's no Shemsu this or no this, that's so all I'm gonna do is pull up the text and ask you how we should perceive that text when it says, here's this place in the Duat, here's this place in the Duat, under the followers of the Sar, blah, 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 this, that, the other. How should we see that text? And at that point in time, that's when they'll have their hold up, wait a minute moment, and then we can all come to an understanding that.
Let's have this conversation and develop it.
Right.
I don't know, bro. I don't know if you noticed there was a lot of. I'm not gonna say nothing, man. I'm just. Like I like, but that I'm with you. I come from the same tradition where I don't really. If it's the elder, I kind of go down. I'm like,
We shut up. Yeah, we're not trying
yeah,
to,
I'm from the
we
same.
can't
And
protest him.
even now, it is. So my this is my stance, and I said, and each time I think the Kemetic tradition survived in an adulterated form through Western esotericism and through the Gnostics. I see the Kemetic tradition adulterated through the Gnostics, through Platonic thought, so on and so forth. Like when I read about Plato's forms, do you know what Plato's forms are?
Yeah, when he's talking about the basically the golden Heru, the this, that, the changing it to, yeah.
Yeah, when he says there's so what I think that these when the Greeks came in, they took Egyptian concepts and then made them more mundane. So I think Plato's forms is the Menphite theology of Ptah's Hu and Sia. I think Plato's forms is Ptah Sia. Where Ptah perceived within Noon the fundamental aspects, the building blocks of reality, and brought them forth through vibration. through his word, right? And then when Plato talks about there's an eternal form of beauty, that's het heru, or set. There's an eternal form of nurturing and motherhood that's perfect, where the imperfect examples of these forms are where the imperfect perfecting form, so to speak, are. Another way to say that is we are divine essence, our gods, are forms of the gods, and that we have certain gods over us. And so that's what I think is going on. And then there's a book called there's a good author that discusses the transformation from Kemetic theology down to throughout the ages. And so anyway, that's my perception. And so when you run across certain other people, I think there's like a Kemetic purism that's going on. Like if it's not from the old kingdom or the middle kingdom, then it's not really Kemetic or ancient Egyptian or Samatawi, however you want to say the word. That I think there's some people I think that's a conversation people are trying to have, and I don't think that's a correct conversation, because even in what we're talking about, we're discussing the different schools of thought that was there. There's no like static. It's not like a doctrine. It's not a doctrine that people have. It's there's a fluidity to it.
And that's the problem when people get static. Like, and just speaking on the first part first, yeah, because with Plato, you're looking at him recreating the plays that they used to do yearly throughout the calendar, right? So as you do those throughout the calendar, you're supposed to be going through transformational stages. When you read, like when Heru takes the hand, the Necha grabs your hand and walks you to Ausar, and they start to explain some things to you before you take your initiation, which is a Heru priest and a Ausar priest. And you start to read the discussion between the Ausar and the ferryman traveling over in the boat, and how he explains, yeah, you already know. They're explaining to you the different sections of your hand, making sure that you understand your fingers to make sure that you know how to perform Heka. And that's what he says at the end before he ferries you over. Are you not a magician? Do you not know your own hands? Do you not know Heka? And they compare the hand and the different sections of it. Each section, I think it's 36 or whatever, to parts of the boat.
What? Wait, stop. What document is this?
You don't even. This is in the book of Coming Forth by Day, and this is why I say people don't even. So they don't even know some of the initiation things that you go. They don't know that the wig is a passport, as they call it. It's a degree of knowledge and decree placed upon you.
Hold up. All right.
In order to get to where? To the Aru, to fill the reeds. And so these are the things that people don't really think, because they don't really understand the book, or they don't read it, or they don't know about it. And sometimes you read it and just forgot about it.
So there's 28 sections on your hand.
Yeah, I want to say 30. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14. Each one of these little spots.
Right. 28.
Yeah. So these sections on your hand, and I think he might count these. I can't remember. He'll tell you in the book.
Correspond with the moon.
Huh?
That would correspond with the moon, the 28-day cycle of the moon.
That's one counting of it, which when they count Sepdot, for instance, as an Ami Unuk, you'll know if you ever do this, and you don't even have to do every day. When Sepdot has its helical rising, Sirius, Sepdot, when it comes above the horizon right before the sun, that first day, it's going to do that 10 times. And then another star is going to do that 10 times.
Yeah.
And it's going to do that about 36 times throughout the year. This is the count that they did for the year. So when you go into the astronomical text, they tell you this is how they got the year. So we don't have to, you know what I'm saying? So
Well,
once they say that, that's the case. We're like, okay, this is how you counted the year. Then they tell you how they got the 5 epigeminal days. They tell you. They say, oh, the first day of Asar. Oh, the mooring post that Heru rises upon. This, that, the other. That's the sunrise. And they, you know what I'm saying? They tell you. So it's not like it's a mystery. Hold on 1 second. Let me grab my.
So, thank you everybody for joining in. Go ahead and thumb up and like the video, share, subscribe. You know, I'm on a mission to grow the video, grow the channel, and spread information, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So hopefully you're enjoying the conversation. This is good. This is good. We definitely learned something just now. The 28 on the relationship to the moon. That was interesting. That was definitely interesting.
You know, there's certain mounds that are in Egypt.
All right, got you, Cheminers.
That correspond with the souls of Ra. And it tells you that in the per Ankh, it tells you the 14 mounds are the souls of Ra. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that people don't really, they don't pick up.
The thing that I've been focused on is the like you heard me discuss it the other day with Baba Banachi, the 7 creative utterances of Mahet Waret.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then its relationship to the creation of the universe, and then its relationship to the Ophite Gnostics. I don't know if you're familiar, but they have 7 spheres of creation prior, and then that's relationship to the development of Kabbalah.
Yeah, and that's more Greek, which I feel you because I've read the Kabbalah.
This is
Kabbalah has.
Brother Jose is coming up. I dropped the link in the chat.
Oh yeah.
Peace,
Jose
bro.
Francis, I was just talking about you this morning today, brother Jose. So when you start talking Kabbalah, the knowledge starts to switch a little bit because we have you have the Greeks take the Enneads and try to break them down further like we do now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And when people say, okay, that's not the case, I'm like, what do you mean that's not the case? All they were engulfed in was science. They called Newt a certain thing. They called Na'unet a certain thing. They told you what they called them, Keku and Kekuet. The darkness that does this, that blah, blah, blah. So we have the description. It's not like we're guessing. We know exactly what they said and what they meant when they said it. It's not, you know, when one of the astronomers makes the statement, he says, I know all the circumferences and all the orbits around such and such. What, you gonna argue with that? You gonna say he don't know when he
said he did? Yeah.
And they breaking it down. They use observational astronomy, and they were pretty good at it. Brother Jose, I'm gonna let you hop in real quick.
Peace, brother Jose.
What's
things
up?
like this.
Egyptian religious calendar.
This in here goes over each day. Now, the issue with this, a book like this, shout out to the cat who always prints them up. It's going to cover every ritual for every Necharu, for all the Shims. So, not every town did everything in this book. Because you didn't.
So where did you, is that, so you said the brother that prints it up, so then it's only available.
This is on Amazon.
Okay.
He'll go through every, this is what we know from off the walls. He knows the fact, we know the WAG festival, we know this, we know why this happened. We know on this day such and such happened. We know on the day when so-and-so died that they would put the lights in the little floats and put them on the water and float them over. You still do that today on some festivals. you all of that stuff is in there for when and how and all that. It's not even a mystery. It's just practicing it in the fact that his calendar is matched up with like the Gregorian calendar. That's one of the only issues I take with him, because you can't start the civil calendar until Sepdot rises. and that's the only issue. Go ahead, brother Francis. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what's up, man?
What's up, big dog?
You know you might be saying too much, right? You know you're gonna get about 5 calls for saying too much, right? You know that, right?
You might be right. You might be.
You know you dead wrong for saying all that because you know exactly who gonna call you when you done and tell you shouldn't. You know that.
Yeah, yeah.
He knows that, you know. He knows that Sankofa, but he can't help it, you know. He'll get
Listen,
in trouble.
brother, I'm listening to y'all have this conversation. I thought it was a good build. I'm not seeing the problem.
The problem is if you're initiated into these things, you're not supposed to say everything to people who are not initiated. And he knows that he went too far.
And he didn't see me say keep some of these things in the per and that's true. A lot of things need to come to the per but there's so much that they don't know. As vague as I'm being, like they know about the WAG festival, they know about but like if I do something like this, like with that initiation statement and what's in this book, but for making transformation into a nature and giving light and darkness in chapter 80 of the book of coming forth by day, these are things that you should know. You all should have read the book.
Brother Francis, I wanna say something. My take on that idea, right? In West Africa right now, when you go to Ghana, Nigeria, Benin, Togo, in Africa in general, right, you have this massive surge of Christianity, and then in general you have like the Eastern traditions taking over. A lot of this has to do, I think, and I'm gonna go out here and be online and say this. I think because the African traditions have this concept of secrecy. There are some, and then they don't initiate a lot of people, or they're not releasing their spiritual wisdom to the world. They're keeping it within a certain group for the power that it gives you. When you go here and talking this information, people look at you with reverence and they give you a certain level of deference, and that gives you power over them. And I think that the priests and priestesses over there maintain that tradition, but also as a result of the other traditions releasing their information, and then other people getting initiated on their own and then finding masters and teachers to teach them along the way, it's spreading their traditions more. That's my take on it. Like, I think, there's certain, I've been reprimanded for doing certain things like what you're saying. I have been reprimanded.
But there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, like,
It's not. It wasn't intended for everybody to begin with.
yeah.
It
But
wasn't intended for us, but we just happen to know about it due to people digging up things that maybe they wasn't supposed to dig. You
I
just
think,
digging and you finding things that maybe you shouldn't be finding, and you can't be releasing things willy nilly because people gonna hurt themselves.
Brother Jose, I think we need to break down some of those things. I think there's some things that we need to really research and study. I think I think all people, I think we should release it because the people that are really interested are going to know, and then at least what's been shared on this stage, we haven't shared ritualistic practices. We haven't shared personal disciplines that you engage in order to enter into altered states of consciousness. We haven't even discussed any of that. At the most, Brother Asar Ka has talked about a book that tells you ritual to perform on certain days, and told you, now he didn't tell you the ritual. He said, this is where you go to get it. So now who's going to do that? And then that person, then it's going to be up to them to contact the Asar Ka or the author of the publication in order to figure out how to move forward.
Yeah, but you could hurt yourself doing those things and you ain't ready for it too. There's plenty of people walk around talking to themselves because they play with the ancestors. I could tell you that. So be careful too.
Yeah, because people will try to get you. People will try to, and then we also have to be ready to defend this, right? Because I've had to defend certain things spiritually before. You got guys trying to, like Muslims will try to get you a lot of times.
Well, brothers, here's the thing: what can be released in your understanding? Then, what can be talked about without caution?
Certain methods of initiation, certain certain ritual practices. Remember, they killed somebody because he wasn't doing the proper washing on a regular basis. Knocked him off. Wasn't doing the proper washing, wasn't doing any washing on some days, and then he's going to touch the netcher, and they got rid of him. And that's a story from a priest from his diary. So we know what they did. You know what I'm saying? They was like, and they told him several times. Wasn't like they just, oh, nah. He gave him several, like, stop doing that. Or stop, you know what I'm saying? And he continued to do it. And they would watch from behind the column as they wrote it. And they see what he doing. And this guy right here he's a disgrace. He's disrespectful. He's not in it for, for the right cause. And they got rid of him. So you always have a radical who thinks like that and will go into that motion. But things about being able to drink the hellfire water, which made its way into the Bible and the Quran, your preachers didn't give you all the prescription for that. And a lot of y'all believe that's what's going to happen. So if you believe that's what's going to happen, wouldn't it be better to get the prescription so that you could drink the water as it's meant for you to drink if you might end up there in your mind and you think that's what's going to happen to you? Okay. You need to come to the right book to get that information. Yo.
Now, for disclosure, I'm not a practitioner at all. So I don't want you to think I'm an expert on that.
Okay.
And to be honest, I'm living in Trinidad and Tobago, and it's very scary because a lot of people take these things and make it into negative things.
Yes.
My wife has a cousin who's a Catholic, and I was sitting down with a brother who was from, I forgot where he was, in West Africa. He said he's spending 15 years to be a priest. The statement he made was, he said, people take African things and make them negative.
Yep, they do 100%.
And this man who's studying to be a priest, who can tell you the stories of his culture, but he chose to be a Catholic priest, and he was breaking it down, and I found it very interesting. I think it was how he's from. It's very interesting.
And that's a good point, because sometimes Voodoo can be used to hurt. It can be used to hurt.
This is my
Voodoo is not used for that.
So the most that I do is I will discuss with brothers and sisters to live holistically, mindfully. Be mindful of the things that you take into your body. Be mindful of the things that you take into your mind. Discuss the importance of regiment. You understand? Discuss the importance of consistently doing a particular practice at a particular time each and every day, such as meditation. Perhaps even, maybe giving a certain type of bath to take and certain things inside that bath in order to cultivate a certain energy. But mostly just meditation and visualization for the most part, and then mindful living. And by and large, from what I've witnessed, when I've been in different traditions, like I was discussing with Brother Ausar earlier, like my trajectory took me along the spiritualist route, right? So I've been inside. I haven't been initiated like properly in any one tradition per se, but I've been a participant in several different Akan Yoruba rituals. I've been to different lodges, sweat lodges. I've been over in Africa, and I've been to the community rituals that they do over in Ghana. And then in Benin, I was over in Benin, and I was talking with the priest, and I remember, he was discussing with me a yearly ritual that they do where they take a sister either pre-menstrual or post-menstrual sister. They put her in this small hut and surround her with snakes for 3 days, where she's fasting and praying for 3 days around like 50 or 70 snakes. And then they bring her out on the third day, in which she prophesizes, and then they slaughter an animal, right? But I'm knowing what goes on when she's fasting in the dark for 3 days, having gone through meditation myself for that same length of time, understanding what happens in consciousness. So, I think the more that we talk about, maybe there are some things that should be kept, such as like particulars about rituals that you do, but the general thing of having upright character, having the your character, from what I can tell in other traditions, your character is the most powerful ashe you can have. It will defend against all different types of things that come against you. That's the most powerful voodoo you could have, is good character. And
Yeah,
even that's talked about in the text.
but Brother Jabari was saying something interesting. He said when he went to Ghana, they made him a chief. After he came back, he said that they showed him some stones with Kemetic writing on it. And they told him a story about a Kemetic priest after the fall of Kemet that came to Ghana and gave them certain knowledge and left these stones for them. And he said they did and said certain things, and he understood, and he was able to explain to them. I find that very fascinating. Have you ever heard of that before?
I haven't. I'm wondering what tribe he got initiated or got installed with.
Akan.
He's an Akan.
Yeah, he's been around the Akan.
Yes.
Jabari has. And these are the things that you'll find.
The symbols too.
When you start to look in, like some of the old, sometimes you got to go to the old racist books. Because your ancestors, when they got here, they said the spirit was in everything.
That's the Menfight theology.
The spirit was in everything. Everybody who's coming over here, oh, there's a fixer in that. There's a spirit in that. There's spirits in the clouds because blah, 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 blah. That's how you came over here on the boat. The Christian who started to transform black folks was an African Greek. When he starts to transform them, he's still a slave.
Wait, who are you
allowing? Huh?
Who are you talking about?
Oh, I can't remember his name. This is before they do the Book of Negroes and all that stuff. He's like the very first one. He said, and at that time they say there were no Christians amongst the black community. It's like that was not what you came over here on. So when they start to say stuff like that, you're like, this is crazy. And chapter 98 is where y'all will begin that journey, where you'll learn about your hands and the boat and awakening of care. Chapter 98, book of coming forth by day. Book of coming forth by day. Started chapter 98.
Who's the author? Who's the
book
author?
of coming forth by day? That's the this particular is the translation of news text. Some of them are the translation of Annie's text. That particular text.
Well, no, not the author of the author of the entire book. All right, who published the book?
Oh, the publisher is not the author,
right?
Because we have the original text, but the publisher is Fall River Press, and this is Raymond O. Faulkner's translation.
Raymond Faulkner's, yeah, that's what he was asking.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
he dropped off though.
Oh yeah. Being transformed into a divine falcon, where you'll start to hear about that initiation discussion, is right here in chapter 78.
Hey, let's pull it up for a second. Let's look at it. Hold up. I got his other works. So let's see if I can grab it for a moment. Hold on a second, brother.
These are the different stages that you want to get familiar with.
You said 198.
98 is where it starts for when the discussion about your hands. 78 is when you're going to be transformed into a divine falcon.
Hold on, let me see.
These are the different things that people, and Haru was talking to the Ausar.
What page is that on?
Page 88 in this here, and page for the other one, chapter, it's going to be spell 98. It's really utterance 98, we'll say.
Oh snap! Hold up, let me see.
When Aken is asleep and all this stuff, they are the arm and the leg. Take care. Do you say that with all that stuff? All that stuff.
Yeah,
It
I'm
tell
looking.
you about your body. It makes your body divine. That's
Hold
what
up,
this
what
book
page is
is
that?
for. There you go, Brother Francis. That's what the book
I
is
say
for.
the
Say that again, Brother Zay.
author of the book that you held up just now.
Yeah, like I said, the author is going to be different authors. The press, the publisher of the book is Raymond O. Faulkner, and Fall River Press is the one who pressed it up. The authors are different. He takes the stories of New. So there's a picture of the author of his particular text and what he wrote down in particular, him and his wife. So he's the author. Then you have Annie, who's an author of this book as well. Then you have uh, a few other people who are authors of this particular book. And we can say that different than a Bible or Quran because we have the actual text. We have their papyrus. So, and some of them, we have their body. We have Mahapri's body. We can see him with his locks. And we have his text. So we know who the author is, which is different than if we say, Moses wrote that. You don't have a body for Moses. You don't have a text from Moses directly. Everything is a second hand of a second hand of a third hand of a copy of a copy, and 14 copies until you get to a supposed original. And the Nash Papyrus is the closest you have to the 10 Commandments in its original format.
So, brother, I'm trying to find it. Maybe I got the wrong book. I actually don't.
You looking at the Book of the Dead?
Yeah, but let me see.
What you looking at? E.A. Wallace Budges?
Nah, I'm looking at the one from Faulkner, but the first
Show what you got on the screen real quick.
All right, yeah, I'm in the archive. Hold on a second. Let me, because I would like to see it. Oh, hold up. Dang, now how do I share present? Share screen. Boom, 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 boom. All right, can you all see this? This is the one you talking about, brother?
See, that's E.A. Wallace Budges.
This is Budges. Okay, let me find it.
Oh, yeah. In there, the page is different. See how that says the Papyrus of Annie?
Yeah. All right.
So you know that a good portion of that book is from Annie himself. Ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead, Raymond O. Faulkner at the bottom. Back up.
Hold up.
Hit back. Now go to the bottom.
This is
right here.
All right. Boom, boom, boom. This is the one you're talking about?
Yup.
All right, let's look at it. All right. Can you all see it or what's up? Or is it?
Yeah, we can see download document right there.
All right, I got to stop share and then reshare.
Once you go in there, you can start to see some of the stuff. Once you deal with some of the stuff in there, you know what I'm saying? You could deal with some of the stuff.
So you said 88, right?
98.
98.
is the 88 is the book page. 98 is the text. 78 is the other text, but yeah. So that's 98 right there.
All right. So okay. Spell 98, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says hail spell for fetching a ferry boat in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Hail to you, the plateau, hail to you, plateau, which is in the sky north of the great waterway. For whoever sees it will not die. I stand upon you, I appear as a god. I have seen you and I will not die. I stand upon you, I appear as a god. I calculate as a goose. Da-da-da. I'm trying to look for
Which part you looking for?
where you talk about the hands.
The hands is at the end of this. It starts here. So it starts here where you're asking to get a ferry boat and Aken to see Aken, and the ferryman is being rude with you. He's being lazy. And so after being lazy at the very end of this, which goes for a while, he's going to say, "Don't you know your hands?" And he's going to have you name all the parts of the boat.
All right.
Oh, you went backwards. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking for at the
You want
moment.
that
I'm looking
particular part. Yeah. You want that particular part to be pulled up. Hold on.
yeah, the fingers joint, brother. Hey.
For bringing a ferry boat in the realm of the dads. See, this
So
one I
that
be
book
like,
has med.
huh? Say it
That's
again,
just
Jose.
English, or it doesn't have any Medunach in it. It doesn't have any Medunach in it.
No. This one is just the translation.
Yeah, this is just.
So if you want to confirm what's in here, and Jose makes a good statement when he says that, right? If you want to confirm what's in here, what you do is you go find the text, then you go to the TLA and you go pull up spell so and so from the book of coming forth by day from so and see if it matches up.
You could do that.
Yeah, that's what we do all the time. You've been on.
No, but I don't know. I'm not. I don't know exactly how to put
How
it
to do it.
Yeah, brother. If you can give us a short lesson on the TLA, fam, I'll cash app you $10.
Let me share
when
my
I get on the
screen.
TLA, fam, I do get on the TLA. I'll be like, man, what?
It's hard to use sometimes, right? TLA will piss you off. Can you see my screen?
No,
I just
go ahead.
put the word and then just stumble through until I find the text I'm looking for because I don't know how to go directly to it.
Can you see my screen?
No, but let me add. Hold up. There, I got it.
So the TLA works like this. Here's a lemma entry. You hit the search.
All right.
We're searching for a lemma. We're searching for a statement, basically, or a word, right? Say I want to look up the word Kemet. I would type Kemet in the transliteration, because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would put the how they spell it transliteration wise in root of lemma, which we don't need to do. And then it says search for lemma, text objects. We'll click that. Now believe actually, because this is that new TLA. Hold up. Let me hit this. Text corpus. Hold up, is it limitless? Now y'all done made me forget how the damn thing works.
Yeah.
If I need it in hieroglyphic, hieratic, or demotic, we want to check this. Transliteration, Kemet. Hit enter, and when you hit enter, it's going to bring up Kemet.
In all the different forms.
Now, let me right click and hit translate, which you can also just hit that button above. And it's going to tell you black fruitland, pupil of the eye, metal implement, made of granite, dorsal fin, right? But I want more. I want it in a text.
Okay.
I got to remember. So this one I'll click. So I've clicked one of them, Kemetic. And where's the citation at? This is the copy of the citation, but it's not. Hold up, let me translate it real quick for you. So this will give me what it is. A metal implement, a device. But to find it in the text, I got to remember real quick. Sometimes I get thrown off too. That's the other one. Is it text corpus when I hit the hit? Let me hit this real quick. Text category. So hit the limit list, hit text category type. Hit translate. All right, literary text or this type of text. So let's click literary text. You got to translate every time you get over. So as soon as you hit the new page, hit translate.
So, okay, you hit translate. How do you do the translate?
Just right click and go down on your computer and it'll say translate to English, which is grayed out because it's in English now.
So what if you have a Mac? It's not. All right, let me figure this out. Because I'm right clicking.
Mac, you left click it probably because you know to bring up stuff, you got to left click it. Here's 11 text types with related entries. Translate to English. But it's not showing me what I want to see. I don't know. That's this new one. Goodness. Hold on, let me go. Oh, let me pull up the old one because you could still get stuff out the old one. TL.
Oh, I got it.
You got it? Okay.
No. I mean, I think. Hold up.
Hold up real quick.
It's done turned into a study session.
Type it in and just fumble through until you find it.
That's right. That's
what I've been doing.
Here we go. All right, here goes the original one. Come on, pull up for me real quick. One time for my lady, please. There it is.
So if I want to,
huh?
So if I wanted to find that text, I probably would have to type in something like hands, and then I'll probably lead to it, right?
You could get to it that way, but there's another way to do it, and I'm trying to pull it up. I just can't. I can't remember. Why I can't remember? I don't know. It should be in the. It should be under the lemma list. Names, titles, adverbs, punctuations, adds all that stuff. But full citations. And
so people do it. Type in a keyword and keep fumbling until you find it.
Yeah, you could do that too. Search the TLA. Oh, let me see. So here's now this is the hieroglyphic and hieratic. But we want boat. No results. So I got to type boat up top. So boat will go up here. Or is it down here? I think it's down further. Any but personal and royal names. Okay, subclass. Yeah. Root of dilemma. Translation. So you go to the translation down here and type boat. Now it's going to pull up all the stuff that has boat in it, right? All the names for boat. Right click, or if you're on the Mac, the opposite, translate to English. Or you can hit this button up here, generally, which usually says English. Right here it doesn't, which is why I right click. And you're going to see the different words that are there, right? So this is boat cruise sent. This is probably in there, I think 86 times or whatever. This is the ship's crew. Head of treasury, eye of God, name of a boat. God's eye, term for a boat. Ship's crew, sailors, and all that stuff. And what you'll do, you'll click, click one of them. The one that had your interest. And then we want to translate to English. See up here, it's supposed to be English right here, EN. But if it doesn't, you just hit right click. And when it says this here, I want to look at the sentence numbers that they have. Go to cite the sentence numbers, right? Hold up, because usually it's a spot down here too. And I think that's what it is. Behold, I've sent him to load it and to muster for me 30 men for the crew of the Imu ship, for each of you of all the strong. So I want to go to cite the sentence, or sentence number 9 in the text, right? So go to cite the sentence. This will pull up parts of that text. Let me see. Okay, it's translated already. With commentary. But the other one usually pulls up the whole text. If I need the hieroglyphics, I just click on the hieroglyphics, it'll give it to me. But data type text, brief P. All right, this is what I'm talking about right here. So this is the text object right here. So we usually go to this, and after we click that, now these are the different text right here that have a statement about it. This is just the arrangement, so you don't hit that. You come down here to the text. See how it says text right here?
Yeah.
Now, when I click this is going to take us to that text, and we'll be able to start to read it. And it'll go to object after that, I believe. Let me make sure. Yeah. So the text, we've clicked, now the object, and it's going to bring up that particular part of the text. Well, this one doesn't show it. It should bring it up here. Show the text. See, it keeps going to the object after, and then when you click it, it's supposed to show it. Why it's not, I don't know.
Brother Ausar, this is really good because it shows me that I'm not the only one that has issues with this website.
We was having issues with it when it first came out.
Yeah.
And we still having issues because when it says text, that's when it's supposed to take you to that spot. And for some reason, okay, 12th dynasty, dating time frame. Now, I can click the different people of that time, 12th dynasty, but I should be able to get to the text from where I clicked, and for some reason it's not taking us there. So what we'll do, I'm just going to go back and we'll click the third one. Let's see if the third one has it. Okay, so we clicked it, right? Now, sentences of the text are over here in the right. I'm forgetting. And here goes the text right here. We'll translate it to English. And now we've got Shemu, third month, copy of the document brought by the dog keeper Enu. It is the head of the pyramid, city visor, anyone who a verb passing, blah, 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 blah. And there you have shipyard, which was the word we were looking for. And it'll give us the whole text. And we could skip over here and go from there. Translate to English and go there. Now, there's another location in here which will give us the types of text. So if I want like all the pyramid text or all the Book of Coming Forth by Day text that this TLA has, it'll have it. Usually, I thought it was in the text corpus under development. But when I click it,
it doesn't
I
show
don't see it. Yeah. So let me back up. Click this.
So they have most, but not all.
Yeah, they have a good majority of them with several people working on the transliteration and translation for you.
Do they have hieratic?
They have some hieratic text, as you've seen in there. Like it'll tell you if it's in, see, hieroglyphic, hieratic, demotic.
Yeah.
And then the transliteration and the codes. It just depends on what you're looking for. So you can search I believe this is the collections. They say that and then don't take you to any. But usually, when you click it should have the text corpus, which is a general list of each one of them, like this right here. Never mind. Let me shut up. Here we go.
Okay.
So here we go. Royal, non-royal text, archival text, letters to the dead.
Oh, snap.
Important. I'm in there often. Letters to the dead. So you can see what they're asking, what they're saying. Magical text, medical text, private stela, religious text, historical and biographical, regular letters, literary text, your private stelas, all those block statues, royal and non-royal persons, private and religious texts. Book of the Dead is here. So if we want to go into the Book of the Dead, we could pull it up, right? Our brother wanted to know. So we would go in here. These are the objects that these are found on in a lot of cases. And then we can, we can go through and you can find your text. 114 through 165 from the Turin Museum. Egizio did it. This is at the Vatican.
What? Wait. Yeah. So I'm looking. All right, I'm on another page trying to go there where you've gone. Okay, I'm here. I see it.
Yep. This is Naket Amen, who we were talking about.
Oh, they got the Ritual of the Hours in here.
All of that's in here. We pulled that up before. So once you're on that page, watch. You'll click here. And then if I want to go to Naket Amen, Papyrus Berlin, 3002, we'll click it. We'll scroll down. And here are the text that they have in here for it. And I'll click that sentence of the text. and then we start to read.
And then you translate it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Now I don't use this that often, as you can see sometimes.
His 9ness. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
4 crocodiles.
So if somebody says, "Oh, you're wrong," blah 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 blah, I've probably been in here and I've already read it, and I've read it in other stuff. So they have to make sure they're on point. I'm the one who holds him back. Back, crocodile of the west that lives on the tireless. You have devoured the neck of Ausar. Ikin bin Jara, whatever that is right there. Inek bin Jara.
That's interesting. So this is a group of Egyptians that didn't. This comes from at least a text of Egyptians that didn't hold the crocodile in high esteem.
Right. Which
Yeah.
a lot of them didn't.
Well, Plutarch says there's a mix. Some do, some don't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some of them held the lamb in high esteem. Others didn't.
Yeah.
But he's not the definition, right? He's just going to tell us
He's just a reporter. He's just a reporter.
Yeah. So Theodore Secoulis and them, they're reporters. A lot of stuff they get right. But if they're not right, let's go to the text. Let's read the actual text. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What you detest is in my body. Have passed through to Ausar. Back, crocodile of the south that lives on excrement. You live on doodoo. Back up. What you detest is in my body.
Yo, what is that? Feces I detest. You see that, man, a lot in coffin text. Like, as I do not walk upside down. Feces I detest.
Yeah, do not let me be of those who eat my own doo-doo and drink my own urine.
I live, but one of the texts, I think it says I live on my something like that. It's like, what are you? That one I didn't get.
That was about the man who got punished. So you have to, you know what I'm saying, read the first part of the book and go from there. Your fire saliva shall not be hurled, given against me the Ausar, blah, 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 whichever Ausar it is, you justified in peace when you pass. So these are the things that you abhor and don't want to happen to you. These are the things that you'll encounter in Egypt, which obviously dealing with crocodiles and snakes was a big thing. You see Apophis pops up. Who lives on Apophis? You're a crocodile who lives on snakes, who is in the hour of the morning. What you abhor is in my body. Get away from me. So you see different things like that in the text. And the name of the text will help you establish why he's saying that.
Right. Okay.
So this is probably for going against crocodiles in the realm of so-and-so. And then it'll establish that.
I went dead silent trying to read stuff now. Let's get back to this. I went dead silent because I'm like in the text. I'm in the TLA trying to walk around.
Yeah. Text corpus development is where I want to say we went right there. Yeah. And then we scrolled down. And then I can't remember. I never remember. I'm a prize fighter. My memory is shot. So
all right, I got you.
But these are the methods of getting around the lingua egyptica franca, right? And most of the time with the translations are pretty decent. Certain things you have to check. And as you get further into the story, he tells you.
I agree with the statement.
Yeah. Hold on, let me blow my nose. This cold is killing me.
Yeah, man.
Jose, good to have you back.
Yeah, my internet going in and out and all kind of madness.
Got you. I got you. You said you in Trinidad Tobago, right?
But I'm from New York, huh?
Oh, I got you. But all right. Yeah, man. Were you with us when we went through this TLA joint?
Nah, I was hearing. No, I was hearing it. But what I do is just type in a word and stumble through the text until I find it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to be like you, man. I'm gonna have to just stumble around.
Yeah, because
Tell
I
you the truth.
found I was looking at Brother Reggie's paper the other day, and I found the actual pyramid text that he was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what I was told by someone, when you're learning Medunetra, you shouldn't go so far back. You're supposed to start from the Middle Kingdom text and
Yeah.
read from there, because that's where you get everything.
I say start from the old kingdom, because you'll see from the old kingdom how the new kingdom and the middle kingdom start to change things. So you'll have the original concept of a particular word and an idea,
No,
which in Middle Egyptian may be masked later. And so
no,
they'll say it like it's commonplace, but you not a commoner there, so you're kind of lost. You're like, what is he talking about? And
no.
so
But
that old kingdom gives you the understanding of what
what
they're talking
what
about in the
I'm
middle
saying
and
is
new
the
kingdom.
person teaches Medunetra, and they said when you're learning, the Middle Kingdom text is the best place to start to learn, because you get everything else as far as the language and thing is concerned.
I say the old kingdom, because if you
So
start
Dr.
in the old
Beatty,
kingdom, you'll have the understandings and then move to the middle kingdom, and then you'll understand what's happening with the new effects in the middle kingdom. Because the middle kingdom, there's certain things you see as kind of like, so what is he saying by that? And it's because we haven't remembered what's in the old kingdom text. So I say go old kingdom, then go middle kingdom, which is the common, and then after that, it's your choice between Demotic, which they got a lot of letters in, or the Coptic.
so a couple of years ago, when I first heard this crazy comment that the hieroglyphs never been translated by old boy, by old boy, right? I went to Dr. Beatty and I asked him about this, and he said, and then he actually, instead of like completely dismissed it, it's on my channel. He went down and explained quite. He explained what he thought he was talking about, but uh young, I guess the person I'm referring to, he's way off in his conversation. He's talking about some other stuff.
Talking about our deceased brother Withers, yeah.
Yeah, no, actually I'm talking about young boy,
Which,
young
oh,
Pharaoh.
you talking about, oh yeah.
But his conversation is way off. And what Dr. Beatty ended up saying was that, Middle Kingdom is classical text. What you get with the New Kingdom is symbols that have not been translated, because it was the priests trying to create symbols for sounds that the Phoenician that the Persians and the Babylonians were making. And so that's when it goes from 800, when it goes from a list of 800 Middle Egyptian symbols to 5,000. This because that's what the priests were making symbols for the sounds that these other foreigners were making, and then so it's harder to decipher them. And so he said that's quite, although that's not what young Pharaoh's talking about. Young Pharaoh's on some other stuff. He said that's what he's saying. That one has that, all of the New Kingdom period texts have not been translated because of that complexity.
Which lets you know that he was way off.
Right.
Because, and you know they're way off, because if a text says this is in the southern kingdom, go look for such and such, and then you go on an excavation and look in the southern hemisphere in the location he speaks on and find it, apparently you can read it. Apparently it's right, and apparently it just walked you over to a monument. From reading this text here, we were
Yes.
able to decipher what was happening over here. We went over there and found the kingdom, and here's the inscription it was talking about. So these are the types of things that would destroy that type of argument. And there's a lot of cases for how they found certain temples, how they found certain foyers, based off of reading the Medu Neter.
Yeah, but you can't listen to young Pharaoh, because he can call himself young Pharaoh and then tell you the Medunetter has not been
Been
deciphered.
translated.
You have another one named Sarah Sutanseti,
My
who
brother
tells you
said
the
it.
Medunetter has not been deciphered, but he have a name that fits properly with someone that knows Medunetter. And somebody was telling me apparently he got that name from one of the elders. He didn't even give himself the name.
I believe Ashraf Kwesi, or his uncle who ran with Ashraf Kwesi, gave him the name, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah, but if you don't think the metal net has not been deciphered, you can't walk around with a name like that and then argue the metal net has not been deciphered.
Right.
Because you know the person who gave him that name speaks Medu Neter, can read and write Medu Neter.
But does SETI say the Medu Neter hasn't been deciphered?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
Seti
And your
sat
power
in my
champion.
car. Seti sat in my car before we went to go do the show. And then it was me and my other brother Sankofa before he moved to Tanzania. And he like, now don't go and try to tell me that the Medu Neter been deciphered. We all look, we said, what? We all laughing, but
he
like,
dead serious.
I said, dog. I said, you running around and your name is Seti the first. I said, how did you get to that conclusion if you can't read it?
Did he have an answer, or is he just saying?
No, he started to filibuster a little bit, and I let him off the hook. That's my dog. So we like, yo, but
I don't like talking about people, so I'm not. I'll talk to them to their face, but I will say this: the young Pharaoh stuff. How could he have Aten Nation if it hasn't been deciphered? Where do you get the word Aten from?
Where you get Pharaoh from?
So that's
he had a debate, but he had a debate with Jabari on Sarnetta and got upset, cursed out Jabari, and ran off the panel.
What, Pharaoh Jabari had a debate?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all.
Yes.
Like a discussion that he thought he was going to
turn
turn
him
up
off
with
the
it.
panel. He ran him off the panel. He got frustrated because he couldn't answer the question.
No, because you're asking somebody who is popular. He's a Billy Carson. He's a Billy Carson. And he might not even be as in depth. Billy Carson knows certain things about pseudo stuff. But
yeah.
Billy Carson, he's capitalizing on the whole spirit of like the Chariots of the Gods, Eric von Däniken type of information. Whereas like people don't want to recognize that Egypt or Kemet was a black civilization. And so they would rather say that aliens built it. There's a spirit going on right out there. There's a consciousness out there like that. And so somebody like this is what years ago, this is what I thought about Carson. Somebody like Carson will come around and then feed into that aliens came and gave us great civilizations of the past. And people will latch on to that because they don't want to acknowledge that Africans built the civilization. So that's where he's getting his popularity from.
But I think he believes that,
He does. Like, no doubt. I agree. But he's also
I think he has a niche and he's smart to build up off the ignorance of the crowd, because the crowd is ignorant enough to roll with that. Like, yo, no.
That's cool.
He said
it's all of that.
The Jedi came from the Jed column. I said, Billy.
I've heard that before. Not from him. I've heard that from other people. The Jedi comes from the Jed pillar. Yeah, I heard that before.
See, there's certain things that George Lucas admitted to concerning ancient Egypt. I've never heard that one.
I've heard that one before. I ain't saying that's real. I'm saying I heard it. I'm not saying that's where it came from. I'm saying I've heard that.
Yeah, I'm like, what in the world, and how did you come up with?
But that's just whatever. That's word games people like to play in order to make them sound, like they have some sort of information.
Well, it's intrigue, and that's why I say he plays off of the psyche of the lost soul. And you can do that when people are that, naive.
Or just in general. That's the general population, and there's always new ones every day. So
yeah, but people don't. It's set up that way. You don't have to really know the Medu Neter in order to read the text. You just have to be able to read.
No, but people do what you did to just earlier because you want to know. You'll say, well, what does it say in the TLA, right? And so you do that because you want to see if we can get to the root of the source, which with me, you already know we can do that. But That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, but the Medu Netra is important because you realize even in the TLA, when you know a little Medu Netra, you realize they're taking liberties with translations.
Yes. That's why I say you got to be careful about certain texts to make sure it says what they claim. And so it's not necessary, as you pointed out, if you got a good translation. But if you're doing your due diligence as a teacher, you should know, or at least know where to find it at.
Or be striving to get that understanding. Let me say that.
Yes.
Because sometimes it's very difficult to find what you're looking for.
That's true, but once again, the TLA and St. Andrew's Corpus are good starting points when you want to read texts because they're facsimiles, and when you look at some of those texts, you can actually find them written on walls, but they just arrange it differently in the TLA because in the TLA said the texts are arranged artificially, which means that that's not the original arrangement, and then they have words in parentheses that they just add for clarity or words for
Correct.
context. So you have to know that. And then they have
Like,
brackets, which means we're not sure if the original was broke off, and they're just guessing. So you have to know those things when you're reading text. Even when you're reading the Greek text, see, like Ausar was going over some text, I think, with Reggie the other day. But Plutarch was talking about Ausar. I think it's called. I forgot what it's called. Something about Isis and Osiris. It's a Greek text.
yeah, the Lamentations of Isis and Osiris. Yeah.
Right. And in the text, he was trying. He was talking about how what he heard the Kemetic people say, and he was fumbling and bumbling because he said that they don't talk about everything outside of the temples. And then he also said they call the country Kemia after the people of the eye, which is the Greek word for Kemet. So when you read these texts, you understand. Because I had a question: were these priests Greek or were they actually Kemetic? And that answers the question that they were Kemetic people, but they didn't tell the Greeks everything. And this is why the Greeks destroyed these temples because like little children who couldn't understand something and they kick over the Legos. That's how they started to behave.
Kick over the Legos.
No, but think about that. If you have a son who's 5 years old and he playing with Legos and he can't understand the Legos, he'll kick it over after about 5 minutes because he gets frustrated. And that's what happened to them. They really wasn't getting the meaning that they wanted. So they started to destroy everything. And when you read the original text, you start to understand that. This is why you start to understand that every Kemetic priest wasn't a traitor. They didn't tell them
that would be just a group of priests from Thebes when they came over and realized that it was up for them and that they couldn't hold on to it physically through a physicality of war or having the power over the Persians, or the Greeks for that matter. But when you talk about like the initiations and stuff like that, this is a matter of Shemsu. This is the nature of your town, which you will follow. And you will follow that particular nature because you came from that particular clan of people. When you come from that particular clan, that's your ethics, your code, and your culture. It's what you do. It's what you came up under. And so when people start to goodness, you start to understand Ifa tradition, you start to see the same situation with the Netcharu. It's not much different. You follow the cult of your ancestors. The ethics and culture of your ancestors moves you forward. And those are your thoughts, ideas. When your ancestors or your people, your elders of your community, if they're alive, start to mix with other cultures around you with the same ideas and preferences, then you may adopt some of that information into your own culture. This is why you have a Shemsu Asar, a Shemsu Haru, a Shemsu this, a Shemsu that. So when we say Kemetic, we don't even see that word in ancient Egypt. It doesn't exist. It's
Hold
not
on a second, brothers. I'll be right back.
Yeah. We see Kemet because that's black. That's a term for black, final, this, that, the other, and a term that they call the good portion of the land. But we don't see Kemetic per se anywhere, except for later Greek texts say Cometian. I've seen it say that. But like I said, I haven't even looked at the Demotic to see the translation to see if it says Cometian or if it says another term. But
Yeah, the demonic is more Greek though, right?
Huh?
Demonic is more Greek though, right?
Yeah, it's created by Egyptians for the Greeks to speak. And so it has some of the same sounds, some of the same terms, and it moves similar to the Medu Neter because it's a derivative of Medu Neter. So it's what the Greeks used for their sound, vocative, if you will. Like you'll see, like I said, amongst the Maasai, you have the Ilaser clan. You see Khopra in Raymond O. Faulkner's pyramid text. Khop. Where did you get the O from? You get the O because the word Khopra in the Maasai language is with an O. It's spelled Khopra, the way Raymond O. Faulkner spelled it in the pyramid text. And so when you start to match those African languages to the Medu Neter and do the due diligence similar to Sheikh Anta did with Wolof, you can start to see where the correct vowels are. When you use the Coptic, the final form of Egyptian, you can see where the vowels are. When you use the Coptic and compare it with the Demotic, you can see the vowels are very similar and pretty much the same. So when you start to go to the hieroglyphic and hieratic and try to see how they would be pronounced and enunciated, some of them are similar, very similar. And then in cases where you have endings fall off or prefixes changed of a word, we can see the progression over time and see its end in the Coptic. Right. Yes, sir.
Man, I'm still trying to figure out how to do this TLA stuff, man. Yo, I've gotten to a point, but I guess having a Mac, man, I can't translate this joint. Let me show you.
You left click.
Oh, somebody, hold a second. Yo, what's up, Zoo? Peace.
Yo, peace.
Zoo 221, Imhotep, brother. How you?
Imhotep, saying, doing good, doing good. Peace. Jose,
Yeah,
Cosmic.
Peace.
I've enjoyed a couple of your builds, Cosmic, on your channel and on Sinetters.
Oh, appreciation, family.
For sure. And Ausar Khan, we got a build saying on the great black god Ausar, man.
Absolutely, we does. I don't think that name's been pushed enough. The black one, you know.
All right, so
Indeed.
Ausar, brother, what do I do from here, man? I can't. When I right click, that's what shows up. Left clicking, nothing happens.
Them damn Macs. So go to the top of that page.
All right.
See where it has EN and DE.
Yeah.
Click the EN.
Boom.
And here it comes.
Now this is not in English, brother.
It will. Give it time.
No, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah, refresh. That's it.
Okay. Go up and click the DE because it's Dutch and it's English. And then that's an Arabic, it looks like over there to the right.
And then but then it gives you the text, but I don't want to go through this process, man.
Ubenru, Iriat. How is it not giving you any English at all? Well, it says link 6. No, but it's not. So go up again.
Yeah, see, something's up.
Go, because when you click
wait. Okay. There we go. Okay. There we go.
All right, yeah.
Got you. All right. So earlier, right before I said that, I had to go into my settings and then put down the translation. I had to activate the translation from Dutch and whatever in my settings.
Okay, gotcha.
So I guess that's a learning lesson. All right, man. That could be the reason why I was having issues. That definitely was the reason I was having issues with it before.
And you always want to find that page where it covers the remember that page I showed y'all where it shows the types of text?
Yeah.
Go there first if you can. And after you get in there, then you can start to play around and because you'll go either to the pyramid text or to the text you want to go to. And which one you get, you'll be able to start to you'll see who's who. You'll see like Annie's Book of the Dead, so and so, but you know what I'm saying? Where did I find it again though is the question, right? I think it was, where is it at? Text, I think it's text corpus information. Yeah. So under text corpus information, click that.
Yeah, this brings up some sort of PDF document. It looks like.
Text corpus info. See, it says text corpus at the top.
Hold on a second. Yeah, I got it.
Hit information, and then scroll all the way down, and then you're gonna see all the different texts that are in there. You can go to Letters of the Dead, pyramid text, all that stuff. Historical and biographical texts of royal and non-royal persons, all that stuff is in there.
All right.
Yes, text, all kind of.
Yeah. And then when you get it, say I click on whichever one I click on. Say I click on literary text or whatever. I'm gonna translate it to English when I get there. So here I've got wisdom teachings, speeches and dialogues, narratives, satire, poetic literature. Let's go to wisdom teachings.
Are you sharing your screen or are you trying? You're not doing
Oh, no, I'm not. Here, let me share it for y'all. I'm sorry. Share screen. It's what 50 do to 50 make you crazy. No.
All right.
So I'm here.
Yeah.
So let me go back, right? So once I get here, remember we clicked text corpus, we went down and hit information. That brought us here. Then I scrolled down. Then I clicked like literary text or something. I moved forward. And once I got here, yeah, this is literary text. And so here I've got narratives, wisdom teachings, all that stuff. I want wisdom. I want to be wise. I go here, then I right click, translate. You'll go to the top and click your, however you get to your English translation. And then you got Neo-Egyptian, which is the new era. You got Middle Egyptian, and you got late wisdom teachings. Let's just go to Middle Egyptian. Now, in here, once I translate these, you're going to see the famous authors. Hordadef, Ptahhotep, Rames in the Ramesseum, Man's Lessons for His Son, Lessons from Ka-Gimni, Amen Imhet, the Oxford Wisdom Text. So I have all these collections, right, to choose from. Let's pick one. Kemetic.
Yeah, pick Kemetic. I haven't seen that one, I don't think.
So we click Kemetic, translate. Now these are the different objects that we find Kemetic on. Papyrus Amherst, the 14 one. Papyrus Anastasia and all this stuff, right? We'll pick the one in the Louvre Museum. When we go in there, telling you it's the 18th dynasty. It's in Museum du Louvre, current location, right? We'll translate it just so y'all can see some of this in English. And it's wood, something on wood. The teachings of Kemetic. Here's the text right here. See how it says text? That's what you want to look for. That's the red link. Now we're there. Now you'll go over here to the gray. See sentence of the text?
Yeah.
Click that. And you see it's about to bring up the text. We're about to, now we're in the text itself. Now I just need to translate the English. Behold, I hereby set you in the way of Necher, the king. It is so that the Renenet of the writer is on his shoulder on the day of his birth, or on the day on which he was born, literally on the day he was born. This is their commentary in here. And you get that because it says Mystiu, births, F, which is the horned viper, which is his. And if I click hieroglyphs, it'll show that. I just know that from reading it, right? When he reaches the gate building, the court, or the council, behold, there is no scribe who has no food of the goods of palace, life, health, and strength. Ankh Uja Seneb. And you can see that right here. Ankh Uja Seneb. And if we click one of the words, what pulls up? Uja Seneb. You know what I'm saying? So these are the small things, the quiddities, if you will.
Straight to the medu.
Yeah, which will let you know over time. And as you read, you'll start to understand. Praise nature. See? Dua nature. In iti ek. Praise nature for your father. It. So you knew as soon as it said it was father. So it says, thank nature for father. Ek, moot, and mother. Moot. What's moot?
Mother.
Moot, mother. You know what I'm saying? These are the, and I'm just reading right off the head without even, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, I don't need the English over here.
Right.
Transliterations.
Yeah, we ek didi tu hor waat net ank. Thank your father, mother, who set you on the path of life. The wa'at inet ankh. You always hear Saber Reggie say, the path of life. The wa and ankh. This is what he's talking about. The wa'at net ankh, who set you on the path of life.
So that's Meshkinet Wajet Net Wajet and Zau
Oh, he's up
Jedi.
here.
Yeah, Jedi Su Naket.
Kinbet, right? This is the prosperous neturette of birth. Meshkinet described. The Meshkinet assigned to the scribe.
But Meshkinet is destiny.
Is his destiny is assigned to him.
Yeah.
Dedi Zau or in Zau
Zau
Dedi
Jedi
S Shu
Su.
Seshu right here.
That's you. Ah, the
The
scribe.
Sesh, the
That's you.
scribe.
Kenbet. That Kenbet part is the court or magistrate.
Yes, right here.
Yeah.
The council.
You
Kin
know, we got that same word in Wolof for real. It's
see
like to
Kinbet. You have
scrutinize.
Kinbet.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
see and Jetta Jeff.
What does Kinbet mean in Walla?
Like they'll say gen butu or gun betu. It means to like side eye or to judge or to like scrutinize something.
Ah, okay.
Who comes out of the earth? Who comes to revive Egypt? Why y'all mad that we coming to revive Egypt when they asked us to do it right here? Who is hidden in form, dark in the day, for whom his followers sing? Who is that? Kekiu. Keku, right there. the dark,
Thanks, man.
to be dark. That's us.
All
Right.
day.
He talking to y'all right now. The text is talking to you. Praise, O happy, who is hidden in form, dark in the day, for whom his followers sing. Praise, O happy, who comes out of the earth, who comes to revive Egypt. The river
Come on.
is reviving Egypt. And you ain't no different than happy. You are dark in the day.
Bro, I
Say,
finally
revive Kemetic,
Come on with it.
for the sake of your African history.
Facts.
Be like happy.
got to a place where I'm where you're at. I've been since you've been talking, I've been trying to figure it out.
Do I happy? Thank you, happy. The worship of the flood god happy. Thanking happy. Thank the happy river. The Nile River is coming to revive Egypt. Get on the same page with the net you're happy.
They were big on that give thanks and gratitude concept.
Very part of, and this is part of your code of ethics. This is why these texts are more important than any of these other books that you deal with, because it's going to remind you of how your ancestors wanted you to be and how you should be. Not, oh, them pharaohs was acting crazy too. Duh. But they got gang members act crazy now. That's part of your progeny. You know what I'm saying? What you
Right?
saying? Your president is acting crazy now, but you still waving that American flag. But
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. Like life don't
West.
never stop lifing. You know what I
Life
mean?
don't stop life, and exactly.
You know? It's like people always revert back to that, oh, it's supposed to be, milk and honey and
Right.
butterflies. But it's like the African systems, like they accept, like, yo, shit could go left at any moment. Excuse my language.
Mhm.
But
Life.
yeah,
It's
but
just
it gives you that insight. That you are part of nature and part of nature, and at the end of the day, nature has everything in control. You know what I'm saying? So
yep. The good, the bad, the ugly, the woe, the sweet.
facts.
For that.
You wouldn't exist if the sun didn't shine for you.
Exactly. Hey,
Yeah,
brother,
raw.
brother, brother. Sorry, I'm Kyle. I'm gonna have to call it right now, brother. Yo, this has been a blessing, yo. Appreciation, fam. Definitely, definitely.
Anytime we could do it again. Shout
Yeah,
out to my brother Zeus. Shout out to my brother Jose, and of course my brother.
yeah. Appreciate
No
everybody.
doubt. Thanks for letting me up, brother Cosmic.
Nah. Appreciate having you. Thank you for telling me about the support. Appreciate you, family. Appreciate you, brother Sar. And then look forward to future builds. Definitely.
Sure.
Remember who you are and being a SAR. Dua Henu, Ankwas Dejen, Anku Jasenev, Dua.
Why? Shema Mattel.
All right, brothers. Peace.